let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So, before we even start, which one should you buy? This is the NV400 4 to 52, and this is the 4K Pro 5 to 20. Which one should you buy? I'm gonna tell you right now, buy the NV400. Clear as day, buy the NV400. So, I'm gonna say this. For the price you pay for the ABL on the 4K Pro, which is like $300, you can literally get this scope for another, right now if you do their deal they doing is like $552 or something like that. So for literally like another $200, like, and you get the scope. You gotta realize the 4K Pro is $700 plus the ABL $300. Like, and this whole scope itself right now is $500. The NV400 is like $552. That's with shipping included. Okay, another thing that I have to get on. Let's get into features. Like, this is the main point. So, with the, let's start with the 4K Pro. So this is the one I had the longest. I done had 4K Pro for years. I had the NV400 for at least 3 months, something like that. Probably a bit longer. I done used both of them. I done hunted with both of them. I done did my due diligence. So, with the 4K Pro, the gripe I have about this 4K Pro, bro. So for one, they haven't updated this scope. They haven't put out an update for this scope in over 2 years, bro. It freezes sometimes. The compass do not work at all. Like, it don't matter how much you calibrate the scope. It doesn't matter what you do. If you redo the update, it doesn't work. Trust me, I know these scopes. I went in and out and tried everything possible, right? So the compass doesn't work. They haven't updated over 2 years, but they released the new scope, which is the new one that just came out, and it had problems too. Like, they fit the scope thing, but do not buy ATN. They gonna update that scope probably 5 to 6 times, and that's it. This scope, the NV400, has been updated over 7 times since it's been out, and the time it's been out. Like, come on now, that's ridiculous, especially for the price that you pay for this. So, buy the NV400. I promise you won't be disappointed. But again, with the ABL on the 4K Pro, I have the 1000. They also have a 1500, but I got the 1000. It does what it's supposed to do. It's gonna get you out to 1000. With the NV400, this is the rangefinder. You see how much smaller they are compared to each other? Crazy. Do they weigh about the same? I'll be honest, both of them weigh the same. Like, when you talk about a device that has cameras in it, that has lenses, that has a whole motherboard in it, it's gonna weigh. There's no different than you getting a traditional scope and adding some AR light or whatever the case is. You adding something, you're gonna have to add some type of light regardless. So it's gonna be about the same way. Regardless if you had a traditional scope and you just added things onto it to see at night, you still gonna weigh the same. So people complain about the weight. I promise you, worth all the weight. The little ounce they do is no different than a traditional scope, bro. What you expect it to be light, then to be trash, you drop one tire breeze. On the NV400, this rangefinder is rated up to 1100 yards, and that is the only one they offer. They don't have another one like the 4K Pro that goes up to 1500 yards. So really, they both do the same. One's bigger than the other one. One runs off the NV400 rangefinder, runs directly off the scope itself, and the ATNs, it runs off a battery right here on this cap right here. It's a battery under it. It runs off that. Does it last forever? Yes, but make sure you have more than one. So the rangefinder does their job well. I didn't compare both of them beside each other in my own personal time. They both showing the same yardage on the same scope at the same distance, pretty much. So this is perfectly fine. So when it comes to the things that are different between the two scopes, the NV400 has what they call picture-in-picture. So at the top, there will be a little small display in the scope that is already zoomed in, and it has a crosshair on it that is very accurate. Like, it's 10 times better. The 4K Pro doesn't have a picture-in-picture, and I might be able to show you all the picture-in-picture. Yes, he goes right here. Look at this. So this is from the manual. If you can see this, let me zoom in. If you can see this, you see how it has a picture at the top and a picture at the bottom, which is your regular, what you would see. You can have the bottom zoomed out, the big picture, which is this. You can have this zoomed out, and this is already zoomed in automatically. And as you zoom in on the NV400, that also zooms in. So, bro, that picture-in-picture should be added on every scope that exists. Dude, the ATN does not offer picture-in-picture. You can just only zoom in. It does not offer picture-in-picture. Zoom back out. When it comes to the ballistic calculators, I know this is something you are really purchasing these scopes for also, besides, you know, just having the day and night vision. They both have ballistic calculators. Now I'm gonna say this. The ATN, I don't know if they need to update it or what. The ballistic calculator in here, no matter, you can get it to work, but it's way more finicky. Like, it's really sad, honestly. It's way more finicky. Like, sometimes you can get it to work, sometimes you can't. And you also have to sight this in at a certain distance for it to work even more efficiently. Like, you have to. So with the ATN, if you have a flat shooting round, 22-250, 6.5 Creedmoor, it works, but it doesn't work as good as the Commander NV400. I promise you it doesn't. With the ATN, once it ranges the target, when you're on the traditional crosshairs that have all the markers in it, let me see, like this one, both of them has the same different reticles, but you see this one, just what I mean about that has the different markers in it. On the ATN, it shows a little small dot, literally a little small dot. On the NV400, it shows a circle with a dot in it. Once it shows you the different appellation, it works. Sometimes it seems like the ATN dot don't be specifically where it needs to be, but it does what it needs to do. But the NV400 works perfectly. You can pretty much set everything up how you want to set it. ATN is, when you use the app on the ATN, the app puts in its own data. Like, if you put in 4 yards, it's gonna put 3.599 or 3.57. It does not put in what you want to put in on the app. It's ridiculous. You have to do it inside the scope for it to equal exactly what you want to equal. Whatever you put in on the NV400, that's what's getting put in. With the 4K Pro, another feature, it has an app, but when I tell you the app is not so good, like, I can literally show you all. I can literally show you all what I mean. So if I go to the app store that's on this app, we're doing this in real time, and I go and search, what's the name of it? Yes, I can do it on this device. I guess I don't. guess I don't, but we're gonna disregard that. It's on my phone, but record on my phone. With the ATN, when it comes to the apps, you can go in there. It has what they call, you can mirror your device. Basically, you can see what the scope sees. The NV400 does not have an app, so there's no way for you to mirror what the device can see to your phone itself, right? Because it doesn't have an app. With the ATN, by you able to go into that and look at it, you can mirror it to TV, you can mirror it to any device that can be mirrored to wirelessly, right? So the NV400 does have outer display. Both of them have outer display also. It came with this here. This is a micro HDMI to the mini HDMI that plugs into the scope. This end plugs into the scope. This end plugs into a display that supports it. So I had to buy a different third-party cable. As you can see, this right here is what goes into like your TV HDMI. Do you see the difference in the size? This is the one you need, and it also has the part that goes into the scope. But this is the one you need, not this one, because this can go into more devices that I'm sure you have. Your computer, your laptops. If you're hooking into just directly into a laptop, you need a capture card. If you're hooking into a TV, you don't need nothing. You get what I'm saying? So you can view it that way. You know, what I love about that is if you're out with your kids or you're out with your wife or family members and you want to be able to coach them and show them where to shoot and be able to show them in real time, both does it. Just the ATN has an app that barely works sometimes, but it works. When it comes to the buttons, they work. It's simply that they're not hard to be able to figure out. They work. ATN buttons do not light up at nighttime. NV400 buttons do not light up at nighttime. The way you zoom in on the NV400 is here with this wheel, very tactile. On the ATN, it's this wheel, not tactile. Both, you focus with both of them. You focus the picture that you'll be looking at, not what your eye can see. This end on both of them, that's what focuses the reticle in, but this focuses the picture in. I really wish that somehow, I guess by the way lenses are set up, you're not able to do it, but I wish that these two, the focus thing, can either be focused, be on a turn wheel or something. Like, I wish it was back here, like on a traditional scope, you were able to focus back here on some of them. I wish this can be moved back here on both of them. But it's probably some type of technology that I don't know about that you're not allowed to do that, or you just can't. Well, you probably can't. Anything possible. They built these, so. But I wish that can be moved, because when you're on the move and you're trying to focus, sometimes you don't, but it can be the cause of a problem, because you have to reach around, grab it. But again, it's not bad at all. Let's talk about with that. Let's go back to the rangefinders. So both rangefinders have lasers, right? Like a red laser that it shoots out. But the ATN laser, it only comes on when you're trying to the IR light that shoots out of at nighttime, the IR light that shoots out of the rangefinder, you only use that to be able to move the IR light in the scope to be able to see where it's hitting. On the NV400, if you wanted to, you're able to leave that light on full time. You're not able to leave the laser on full time on the 4K Pro. You can only leave it on the NV400. Like, you can select it in the menu to leave it on full time. So this is what I mean by when you can hook it up to an external display also. It's currently hooked in by the HDMI cord to any TV of your choosing. But this is what I mean by the rangefinder. So you hold down on the select. You'll go down to where it says, go down. You'll go down to where it says red dot. You'll click on this. Everything that's black is what's being selected. So your press on is currently off on the scope. So then you press it once, it turns it on, and it is on now. So there's a laser that you can leave on all the time, full time, if that makes any sense. So I can turn it back off now if I chose to, off, and now it's off. And the way you adjust it is these screws right here. Windage elevation. It works as it need to, and a lot of people say it's a gimmick. Yeah, but what I love about it is the fact that on the NV400, when you leave it on, right? Say you zero it 25, 50 yards, don't matter. Depending if you're using an air gun, depending if you're using, a powder burner. What I love about this is, say you sight your scope in, you zero at 50 yards. You move the laser to wherever your point of impact is, and when you get closer, say you come back to 25 yards, the laser will now be to the left of that target. So by you seeing that automatically, you know that, like in your reticle, the laser will be to the left of the center of your reticle, where it usually would be at 50 yards. And at 100 yards, it will be to the right of where it would usually be in the center. So they can help you judge distance very quick, even when you're not using the rangefinder as, the distance, to be able to judge your distance. Now, another thing with the rangefinders, on the NV400, you can have the rangefinder on all the time. It will stay on. It will constantly judge the range frequently. It's just you can move the scope. It's milliseconds. It's always judging the range. The ATN, you have to press the button to get a range. So it only flashes 3 times. Like the hour light will flash 3 times, and it will get the range. If you're moving the scope, and that third time you're not on your target, it's gonna give you a miss range on the 4K Pro. You can leave this on the whole time, and that allows, like, if a target is moving, that allows, by its on the whole time, it allows the reticle, if you have the ballistic calculator on, to always be adjusted, because it's constantly ranging. So your drop or your hole will be different. You can't do that on the 4K Pro. You have to manually range every time. If the target is at 25 yards and you range him at 25 yards, when he's still moving away from you, the ballistic calculator on the ATN is only gonna say 25 yards. Where on the NV400, if you're constantly ranging, even though the target is moving farther out, you will still be able to get different ballistic ranges no matter what's going on. So NV400, telling you, is worth all the money. The 4K Pro costs twice as much, and this is not even a new one that just came out. Okay, this is what I mean by with the ATN 4K Pro. This is what I mean by it only flashes 3 times, and you only gonna get that range. So I'm gonna put it in night mode right now. I'm on the app itself. I'm gonna go to the viewfinder, and as you can see, I'm not pointing at nothing in particular, but I'm finna range the wall. Just press the button. As you can see, it flashes 3 times. Let me walk back a little. It's not focused or anything. I'm just gonna press it again. 1, 2, 3. That way, it would then range the target. It doesn't show in the how far it is, because I'm very close to the wall. But again, I'm gonna press it again. 1, 2, 3. If you're not on target with that at nighttime, because you can see it through your scope, that flashing, if that is not on target, then it will not range whatever you're aiming at. That's what I mean by that. Also, another thing, if you're a individual that besides hunting and everything like that, you plan on using these for whatever may interest you, self-defense, having it on your everyday rifle, whatever the case is, this is something I'm gonna tell you all that is very important to know. So when you range a target, right, and if you do use this on your self-defense rifle, you might want to have a red dot placed on top. I promise you, because when you're in close distance, you're not going to be able to acquire a target as needed. But if you're using it to buy this for something like that, you know, the word comes in or whatever the case is, if you want to have an optic that is capable of seeing at nighttime, because who owns the night always wins. I'm gonna tell you something. If there is anybody else that has any type of night vision or military or whatever the case is, when you range your target or you're using your IR light, you can see that it flashes. It's very noticeable. So I advise against that. If you're in a situation where it's nighttime, just know if anybody else has night vision, they can see that flash when you're ranging. And by the NV400 stays on, if you choose to, it's constantly flashing. So you look like a SOS just sitting wherever you're sitting. Okay, so this is what I mean by when I say it's flashing like a SOS. This is on the NV400. It's currently in day mode right now, so I'm gonna switch it to the night mode. That is starlight. That is night mode. So I'm gonna turn the light off, right? So now I'm finna hit the rangefinder. Do you see how it's just flashing? It's just gonna continue to flash because it's constantly getting the range of however far. If I move it to the left a little bit, well, it's the same distance, but you get what I'm saying. It constantly getting the range. You could stop it by pushing the button, which I'm about to do now, and it will stop. Done. It makes the push the record button, but if I push it again, it will flash. That's literally like SOS to anyone else that has any type of night vision, or that, or if you're in a combat zone and you have helicopters or drones flying around with night vision, they will also be able to see this flash once you're ranging targets, or anybody that has security cameras, whatever the case might be. If they have night vision, they will be able to see this flash. We turn it off, and that's it. Okay, so this is what I mean by if you have anybody else have another device that have night vision. So this is looking through the ATN camera. I'm gonna turn the rangefinder on the NV400, but we're gonna look through the ATN camera through the app. So as you can see, if I point it directly at where the NV400 is currently ranging, you can see it. Like, that's literally coming from the NV400 rangefinder, because on the NV400 it constantly blinks, it constantly gets the range. So if this is anyone that is looking in your direction, or whatever the case is, they can see the same thing that you're ranging because of the IR light. So I just wanted to get that point across to show you what I mean. A deer in the headlights. If I know you all get what I'm saying when I mean it. If you're using this for that type of situation, if you're overseas fighting, whatever the case might be, you never know someone's situation. Just know when you range find or using the IR light, it is very visible to anyone else that is using the IR light, or that is using the IR light. So make sure that if you're in that type of situation, make sure you're being very careful with that, because they can see it. That's why you should have a thermal also, because you can have a thermal to identify and then what's going on, because no one can really hide from a thermal. Anybody can, but you have a thermal to see what's going on, see where your potential targets are, or your animals are, and then you use this to be able to get a better picture, be able to see and acquire what you need to do. Both of them are great in that aspect. There's just one thing to know. If it's nighttime, you're using your IR light and your rangefinder, it will flash and it will be noticeable to anyone else that is using it. That's no different than your iPhones you have or your outdoor cameras. If you have more than one outdoor camera and you're looking at the other one at that time, you see what I mean about how that light is able to be shown in the other one. That's what I mean by that. Now, when it comes to battery life, both is very good, no doubt about it. I done had this for years, never had no issues. This one here, I still have my caps. I still have everything because I take care of my stuff. Both of them are USB-C, as you see. Both of them are USB-C. They work. Simple as that. They both have good battery life. And what I love about the NV400, you're actually able to use the other cap that comes with it to add a bigger battery. And in case you all are wondering, if the scope is dead, say the scope is dead, right? If you have a couple other batteries that can go in the cap, that gives you more time. You're able to put those batteries in it while the scope is still on, while the scope is still running, and switch them out. Like say your battery's on 5%. If you have another battery, you can stick that in there real quick and continue going about your day. It's as simple as that. ATN, you can have a portable power bank like this right here. Portable power bank, you can do both of them like that, but I love the fact with the NV400, you're just able to carry portable batteries, the little smalls, and just put them in there as you need it, if you are needed. Like, it's pretty much gonna last you both are gonna last you a full hunt, as long as you have to go out fully charged. With the ATN, you have more batteries you have to keep up with because you have the one that go in the ABL. With this, the rangefinder is powered by the scope because it has little prongs on the other side of this, and this is powered by its own battery. So it can't eat the battery more if you have it on all the time, the rangefinder on the NV400, but it still has good battery life. Like, haven't had no problems when it comes to battery life at all. Now, let's talk about picture quality. What it looks like with the naked eye. It doesn't matter if I show you all a video or what it looks like, because it might look good, it might not. Depends on the lighting. So with the 4K Pro, the display in this it appears to the eye like it's a little square box. It looks like a screen. It appears to be a little bit bigger than the one that's in the NV400. And if you look closely, this looks, I don't know where the screen starts in here. I have no clue. I didn't build a scope, but it's bigger. So that the screen in here looks a little bigger than this one. But by this has 4K sensors in it, and this only has 1080p sensors in it, the 4K Pro. The image in here looks so much better, and it's like ridiculous. Both of them look good, but when you're comparing them, this is so much better. Recording is so much better on here. You can even take up to 48 megapixel pictures. It looks better. It is better. I promise you. I paid for this. If you're looking at a lot of the other reviews of this scope, they've been sent that scope by Commander AI. They've been sent that scope free of charge. I paid for this with my own money, $500 and some dollars. I paid with this my own money. I wasn't sponsored by them. I wasn't anything like that. I paid for this with my own money, and I paid for this with my own money. At the time, this was over $1,100, and this was $552 or whatever it was. Right now, this is like $700, just the scope itself. And then you have, hold on, battery going dead. And then you have that threw me off, my bad, my battery was going dead. Then you have the ABL, which is $300. So you can get 2 of these. Think about it. You can get 2 of these. The NV400, you can get the 4052, and they also have a 2 to something. Can't remember exactly what it is. It's a 2 to something. You can have both of those. Let me put this on charge. You can have both of those for the same price as one of these. Think about that for a second. You can have 2 of these for the price of one of these, and it's 10 times better. They're frequent with their updates. This is on the latest update. It's so easy to do. Literally, the only thing you have to have is, you don't even have to have a computer. Like, a lot of people think you have to have a computer. If you have the SD card readers that plug into your phone, you literally go on their website, download the firmware to your phone, plug the SD card reader in to your phone, plug the SD card into the SD card reader, download the file from your phone to the SD card reader. It's so easy, I promise you. Take the SD card out, put it in the scope. It has to be powered off. And once you power it on, that's with both of them. Once you power it on, then it automatically updates. Simple as that. I did notice though, it might have just been my every time I update. Well, I only updated once with this. I think it does change all your settings back to like factory. This, I can't really recall, but I think this doesn't. Now, let's talk about one thing I noticed that is crazy. With the compass, it doesn't work in this one. It works in this one. The NV400 works in the NV400. It doesn't work in the ATN. It hasn't worked for years. I don't even think about it. It doesn't, it doesn't bother me. It's just the point. I paid for it. I want it. With the level that's inside the scope that shows you on either side. Let me get this book. I can show you. See how it shows you on either side that you're on left and right, or your level up and down, right? Your pitch, or whatever you want to call it. When you calibrate this in the ATN, I don't know if it's just doing it based off a sensor that's inside the scope, right? But it seems to work fine every time. When I do level, it's level, right? Now the issue that I'm having, or it's not even an issue, on the NV400, when it's factory, say it's not level, right? Say I go and calibrate it, it shows you to just sit it on the table. With the NV400, say you have it like this, and you calibrate the scope on that surface. That surface that you calibrate the scope on has to be leveled. Because if I sit it on a surface and turn it like this and calibrate it, this will now be level. The scope will now think this is level. I don't know why it does that. I don't know what type of sensor it has inside. that does that. Even if you go back to factory, it will still think this is level. If this is the flat surface, the angle I got it at now, it would think this is level. I don't know why. So I think you should, what I do is, the way you should level it, you put it on your scope, you make sure the gun is leveled first. The gun needs to be leveled. Then you sit this onto the scope, onto your rails, your Picatinny rails, your dovetail rails, or whatever you have. Then what you do is, if the scope is level, I mean if the gun is level, left and right and up and down, make sure the gun is level left and right and up and down. Then you calibrate this. You're not tying down any rings yet. You just want this to be level to the earth. Up and down, left and right. It needs to be level. The surface has to be level in both directions. Then you calibrate it. If you just calibrate this and you got to land on the side like this, it's going to think this is level. That's the best way I can sum that up without making it sound too difficult. But besides that, that's the only thing I noticed about that bothered me. Because someone else might not know that. So they might just sit theirs on the table, calibrate it, but their table is not level. And if you have a sended level on your rifle that sits on your Picatinny mount, it will show you that it's very off. So if you want to calibrate it, that's how you calibrate it. Make sure the scope surface that it's sitting on is level. That's for both of them. Make sure it's level. So once you mount it on your gun and you're moving it inside the rings, you don't even have to look at your sended level because the scope is not level, but still do it. So that's the best way I can explain it. Now, another thing, I went to buy more scope rounds for this because, as you can see, I like quick detach rings. The issue is this tube is measured at a different size than like a traditional scope. They also sell one-piece rings, but it doesn't have like a 20 MOA like this. See how these rings have 20 MOA in it? And you gonna want that if you're pretty much running anything. 22 long rifle, if you're running air rifles, or in the case, like this right here is too big. Like I literally purchased it just for this, and it's too big. The measurements are off. So you have to be careful when you're doing it. With the ATN one piece, this is the mount from ATN. That's a one piece. That mount itself was over $100. And I promise you, if you get an ATN, you gonna want that mount. This is the high mount. You don't want the low one because the end is so big. When you sit on the scope, you're not gonna have enough clearance. So you want to have the high one. You can buy it off Amazon. It's $100 and some. It's worth it. I promise you, it's worth it. That's what you want. That's what you need. Nothing else. So, all in all, you gotta pay $100 for this. If you want to get exactly what you need to pay $100 for this, $700 for the scope, $300 for the ABL. Crazy. Versus this, $552. And plus, if you would have counted this, if it would have fitted, $30. Another way you can go about doing it, if you can't find 20 MOA rings, you can get a 20 MOA rail mount that mounts directly to the gun. That's more perfect if you ask me, but either one would do fine. With another thing I want to talk about, the end. I purchased this on Amazon and put it on there. You know, it screws in the cap and have the different lenses that can go in, because if it's very bright outside, you want to have one on. What I've noticed about the ATN, if you're not directly facing, the sun is directly in front of you and you're facing directly towards it, besides that, you do not need the lens cap. You always need it off on the ATN. Always. Unless you're facing directly into sunlight. Now, with the 4K Pro, not 4K Pro, the NV400, this has a better sensor and it is very, very sensitive. You see this cap right here with the hole in it? This comes with it, everything. You know you have another one that screws in. If it's daylight outside and you're in sun, keep this cap on, right? But if you're not in direct sunlight, open is fine too, but the sensor is very sensitive. You don't need the one that screws in unless you're in direct sunlight. So I just always keep it like that. It's always been great pictures, great videos, regardless. As long as I keep this cap on, if I see it's a little glare, put this on, perfectly fine. But besides that, it's open. The image look better when it's open. And both of them, you know, both of them have, this one has day and night only. This one has day, night, and star mode. Star mode is like right before the sun go down. You might as well just switch to night or stay in day. It looks the exact same. Pictures the exact same. It's no different. Both of them have good brightness at nighttime. You can see both of the videos that you record from the scope itself. Everything is good. All in all, I think, because I'm making this video now, I'm gonna say I think, in my personal opinion, you should buy the NV400. You can buy 2 of these for the price of 1 of these. And this isn't even the new one. This is the 4K Pro. And the new one still has problems. So I wouldn't spend my money on a company that doesn't like to update, that doesn't like to answer emails, and if you send it out, they send it back to you with same thing wrong with it. If you look at the reviews on their app and on their website, it's always something wrong with this couple. They're freezing. When they work perfectly. When they don't work, they don't work. Haven't had one issue with the NV400. One issue. I haven't had one issue. Buy the NV400. Save money. Yes, this is made in America. This is made overseas. Sad to say, overseas quality is 10 times better. They probably literally just put some weights in this and made it feel heavy. And if you drop this on this front, it's gonna break. That part breaks too, but I've seen countless video of this part right here is not thick enough. Where the rails were, and it breaks. This scope, man, seems to be top quality. I promise you. Buy this. If you're thinking about it, if you're trying to choose, buy this. Don't hesitate. Buy this. Buy 2 of them. If you're gonna buy this, buy 2 of these. Simple as that, because it's the same price. Another thing, and also if you buy this, you can get some extra batteries. Rechargeable. Anything you use for these scopes, make sure they're rechargeable batteries. Last you longer, you'll be more efficient. That's the thing you have to worry about. And that's really about all, man. What makes this scope, to sum it up, what makes you, which one is better? NV400. Why? It has picture-in-picture, better picture quality. The ballistic calculator actually works perfectly. It doesn't freeze. They update their firmware. It's a tiny bit lighter. I don't have a scale, but if you believe me or not, you can look at the scopes. Like, you see which one is bigger. Like, there's no question asked. NV400. It's better, I promise. It'll be all I really have to say about it. If you're in the market for a day and night vision scope, yes, buy these 2. You also have the, what's called Pride. I can't remember exactly what the other scopes are, but these are the 2 that you want to look at. Get the NV400. 4052 too, if you can, because the sensor is a little bit more better than the 2 to 25. And let me make sure that's all I really want to talk about. I think that's really all I want to talk about. Again, hope all is well with you all, and hope y'all enjoyed the video. Give me a like and subscribe if you did. end up purchasing one. I don't even want it if you ain't end up purchasing one. If you end up purchasing one, then you like and subscribe. If it ain't for that, then don't even worry about it, because that was the whole purpose. Yeah, this is the ATN versus 4K Pro. I mean the ATN versus NV400. Which one should you buy? NV400. Which one is cheaper? NV400. Which one has more feature? NV400. Which one has better picture quality? NV400. Which one has the better ballistic calculator? NV400. Which one has which one is lighter? NV400. Which one would most likely get repaired or gave a refund, depending on where you bought it from. If you bought it from Amazon, you know you can get a refund from them because you just send it back. But if you bought it from the direct carrier, which is NV400 and ATN, which one will get repaired? Which one will most likely get sent out with a new one? NV400. Which one gets updated? NV400. Oh, another thing, if you stay to the end of the video, the ATN has zoom of 5 to like 52. A lot of people don't know that. The way you get it is you go in the settings, you go to zoom, and you have to press extend. That will give you 5 to 52 zoom. Of course, it's very pixelated at that distance. I mean, at that zoom, very pixelated. The NV400 only has 1 to 13. But if you have the picture and picture mode on, you have to realize that was already zoomed in at least it appears to me to be like 6 time magnification. So by the time you get to 13, it's well over 20. And it's very pixelated too, but you can see what you need to acquire, and you'll be able to put shots on target, and that's it. But that shall be all. This time that should be all. Thank you for watching.
Get down! Lil' pussy boy, really with the chit chat. Lil' pussy boy, really with the knick-knack. Shoes up and all black, let me get that. I just took a sack, he just took a loss. Nigga for the coast, I'm your boss, nigga drippin' sauce. Soon as I seen the pussy boy, he ran so fast, call him Dirty Dan. Hit him with chalks, hit him with moss. Boy, you a up, get off the block, wanna be stopped?